Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about the top 10 most powerful swords in history. The first sword appeared during the Bronze Age. It was made of copper and was uncovered at the Harappan sites in present-day Pakistan. By the Middle Ages, iron and steel swords were being mass-produced and used in battle. Soldiers were trained in swordsmanship and prepared for combat. It was before the era of guns and high-powered artillery, and face-to-face fighting was the norm. During this time in history, all of the royal generals, kings, and emperors owned personal swords. These weapons were manufactured by the greatest sword makers of the time. Many historical manuscripts document events surrounding significant swords. This article will be examining 10 world-famous swords that still survive today. Mythological and legendary swords will not be listed. 10. Tomoyuki Yamashita's sword. Tomoyuki Yamashita was a general of the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. He became known during the war after conquering the British colonies of Malaya and Singapore, ultimately earning the nickname the Tiger of Malaya. After the end of World War II, Yamashita was tried for war crimes relating to the Manila Massacre and many other atrocities in the Philippines and Singapore. It was a controversial trial that ended with a death sentence for Tomoyuki Yamashita. The case changed the United States rules in regard to command responsibility for war crimes, creating a law known as the Yamashita Standard. 9. Curved saber of San Martin. José de San Martin was a famous Argentine general that lived from 1778 to 1850. He was the primary leader of the southern part of South America's struggle for independence from Spain. San Martin is a South American hero and the first protector of Peru. Under the lead of San Martin, Peruvian independence was officially declared on July 28, 1821. In the state of Argentina, the Order of the Liberator General San Martin is the highest decoration given out. 8. Seven-branched sword. The Baekje dynasty was an ancient kingdom located in southwest Korea. At its peak in the 4th century, Baekje controlled colonies in China and most of the western Korean peninsula. They were one of the 3 kingdoms of Korea, together with Goguryeo and Silla. In 372, King Yeonchogo of Baekje paid tribute to Eastern Jin, and it is believed that a seven-branched sword was created and given to the king as a sign of praise. 7. Wallace sword. William Wallace was a Scottish knight who lived from 1272 to 1305. Wallace is known for leading a resistance against England during the Wars of Scottish Independence, which were waged during the late 13th and early 14th centuries. During his lifetime, William Wallace was appointed the Guardian of Scotland. He led an infantry of soldiers who engaged the enemy in hand-to-hand combat. The prized possession of many of these soldiers was their sword. In order to survive on the battlefield, one had to be a talented swordsman. In 1305, William Wallace was captured by King Edward I of England and was executed for treason. Today, William Wallace is remembered in Scotland as a patriot and national hero. His sword is one of the most famous in the world. 6. Tizona sword. El Cid is a man that was born circa 1040 in Vivar, which was a small town about 6 miles north of Burgos, the capital of Castile. The Kingdom of Castile was one of the medieval empires of the Iberian Peninsula. During his lifetime, El Cid became a successful military leader and diplomat. He was named the chief general of the army of Alfonso VI and became a Spanish hero. El Cid was the king's most valuable asset in the fight against the Moors. He was a skilled military strategist and strong swordsman. El Cid owned and used many different swords in his lifetime, but the 2 most famous are Culata and Tizona. Tizona is a sword that was used by El Cid to fight against the Moors. The weapon is one of Spain's most cherished relics and is believed to have been forged in Cordoba, Spain, although considerable amounts of Damascus steel can be found in its blade. Damascus steel was primarily used in the Middle East. Tizona is 103 centimeters (40.5 inches) long and weighs 1.1 kilograms (2.4 pounds). It contains 2 separate inscriptions, with one listing a manufactory date of 1002 and the other quoting the Catholic prayer Ave Maria. Tizona is currently on display at the Museo de Burgos in Spain. 5. Napoleon's sword. In 1799, Napoleon Bonaparte became the military and political leader of France after staging a coup d'etat. 5 years later, the French Senate proclaimed him emperor. In the first decade of the 19th century, Napoleon and the French Empire were engaged in conflict and war with every major European power. Ultimately, a series of victories gave the French a dominant position in continental Europe. But as history would later repeat itself, in 1812, the French began their invasion of Russia. The decision to invade Russia marked the turning point in the fortune of Napoleon. In 1814, the Sixth Coalition invaded France and Napoleon was captured and exiled to the island of Elba. He would escape, but ultimately died in confinement on the island of St. Helena. Historians regard Napoleon as a military genius and a man who made strong contributions to the operational art of war. 4. Sword of Mercy. The Sword of Mercy is a famous weapon that once belonged to Edward the Confessor. Edward the Confessor was one of the last Anglo-Saxon kings of England before the Norman conquest of 1066. He ruled from 1042 to 1066, and his reign has been characterized by the crumbling disorganization of royal power in England. Shortly after Edward the Confessor's death, the Normans began to expand into England, led by the infamous William the Conqueror. 3. Zulfiqar scimitar. Zulfiqar is the ancient sword of the Islamic leader Ali. Ali was the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. He ruled over the Islamic Caliphate from 656 to 661. By some historical accounts, Muhammad gave Zulfiqar to Ali at the Battle of Uhud. Muhammad admired Ali's power and strength on the battlefield and wanted to present him with his cherished weapon. The sword is a symbol of the Islamic faith and is admired by millions of people. Zulfiqar is a scimitar, which refers to a West Asian or South Asian sword with a curved blade. It is said that Ali used the sword at the Battle of the Trench, which is a famous siege attempt on the city of Medina. During the battle, Muhammad, Ali, and other Muslim defenders built trenches to protect Medina against the much larger Confederate cavalry. 2. Honjo masamune. Masamune was a Japanese swordsmith that is widely regarded as one of the world's greatest metallurgists. The exact dates for Masamune's life are unknown, but it is believed that he worked from 1288 to 1328. Masamune's weapons have reached legendary status over the centuries. He created swords known as tachi and daggers called tant. The swords of Masamune have a strong reputation for superior beauty and quality. He rarely signed his works, so it can be hard to positively identify all his weapons. 1. Joyeuse. Charlemagne is a man that was born circa 742. He is one of the greatest rulers in world history and became king of the Franks in 768. In 800, he was named emperor of the Romans, a position that he held for the remainder of his life. In the Holy Roman Empire, he was known as Charles I and was the first Holy Roman Emperor. During Charlemagne's lifetime, he expanded the Frankish kingdom into an empire, which covered much of Western and Central Europe. Charlemagne is regarded as the founding father of both the French and German monarchies, as well as the father of Europe. Make sure to watch the full video. Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.